Pulse on Mirror Now. I'm Amita Balachandra. Today we're going to discuss about the diktat that's coming from the INB ministry, where it said that condom ads cannot be played on television between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. in the night. It can be played only during the night. That's coming up on the show. We're going to find out whether it's justified. We're going to be talking to parents, students and doctors and figure out if that is something that the government of India should be focusing on. That's coming up later on the show. But also on the show is Maharashtra Assembly adjourned for the day after opposition corners the government on the issue of farm loan waiver. This amidst mega farmer protests outside the Nagpur Assembly. Also on the show, top Kolkata school apologizes for denying admission to a child born through IVF. The school now says that father's name is not required for admission. Well, on top focus this evening is whether condom ads should be banned on television channels during the day, like the government of India has now done in a new rule that has come up. Between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. in the night, TV channels must not air condom ads, as the government thinks that it will corrupt children who are watching the ads on television. The question we're fundamentally asking on the show today is that ban justified? In fact, I'm going to go straight across to Apurva Sridhar, who's joining us from Delhi. Apurva, take us through what the order is, the advisory that was issued by the Advertising Society Council of India, and now the INB Ministry has, brought about. Take us through that order.
Amita, this is the order that the Information and Broadcasting Ministry has issued to all the TV channels, asking them to telecast the condom commercials only between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. and this in the light to avoid exposure of such content and such material of children. What I have with me is that advisory that has been issued to all the TV channels, which specifically has quoted Rule 7 of 8 of the Cable Television Network Rules of 1994, which specifically states that indecent, vulgar, suggestive, repulsive or offensive themes or treatment shall be avoided in all advertisements. Now, this particular order that has been given to all the TV channels also goes on to say that the telecast would be between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. to avoid exposure of such material to children and thus to ensure adherence of this order. Now, the primary question that everybody is now asking, that is it just the ad that we're talking about? Shouldn't the government really regulate the content that is on air? Now, this is the order that has been given to all the TV channels, and there are many questions that are being raised not just by parents but even by experts in the industry, brand consultants as well, asking, is it right for the government really to come up with a time limit? Now, joining me right now two such parents, when we've been talking to them about what they feel, because at home when their kids are watching TV, what is it that really goes behind? And let me just go across to one of the parents. Sir, in your view, you think the regulation of this content is more important rather than putting a cap on the time limit and telling the TV channels to air it only after 10 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
It is not a matter of to telecast this in the particular time. Basically, it is required कि we should ban overall ban, across ban, and not only on television. It should be banned across print media and outdoor media as well, because there are several questions put it by the children to their parents, and most of the time हम लोगों के पास आंसर नहीं होता. वी वर बेसिकली आंसरलेस एट दैट मोमेंट ऑफ टाइम. कई बार चीज़ें एक्सप्लेन हो जाती हैं, कई बार चीज़ें एक्सप्लेन नहीं होती. एंड यू नो कि आज की डेट में केवल टीवी पे बैन कर दिया या वो कर दिया, इंटरनेट पे भी इसका बहुत सारा इम्पैक्ट आ रहा है, क्योंकि आज की डेट में जो बच्चे हैं जो एजुकेशन वो ले रहे हैं वहाँ पे वो लोग इंटरनेट सर्विंग पे बहुत जाते हैं. अगर आप केवल कंटेंट बैन करेंगे और उसमें फिर कोई ना कोई एक रास्ता निकाल लेगा जो इसको प्रमोट करना है अपना प्रोडक्ट, फिर बच्चा इंटरनेट पे जाएगा, सर्व करेगा, उसका फिर एक रेपरकशन निकल के आएगा. तो आई थिंक कि अगर ये बैन हो तो पूरी तरीके से बैन होना चाहिए.
Right, there's a voice there coming in favor of the notice that is being issued by the Information Broadcasting Ministry. Sir, आप बताइए, are you in favor of a complete ban of the product on TV, or do you think a regulation is a must at this point? Just regulate the content, but considering condoms are something that creates awareness, that's a part of sex education in schools as well, that needs to be there as part of television, but the content can be regulated.
I think the content should be regulated instead of putting a blanket ban, because blanket ban might have, I mean, then there will be no awareness, and then nothing would be given in. I mean, we can't tell anything to the children or anyone. I mean, parents should be open-minded to it. There should be a content regulation to it, and then blanket ban is not an option. And timing also is not an option. You are giving 10 to 6 p.m. a.m. of timing, and that's not an option. So instead of putting blanket ban, the ministry should give an option of content regulation on it.
The ministry, in fact, in its notification, this is the notification, has really gone on to say that the telecast between such and such time is generally to avoid the exposure of such material to children. But don't you think in the advent of digital era, that is really not a concern, because you can get information from absolutely any given possible.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I said giving timing of 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. it's not a solution, because my own son, he sleeps with me only at 11 or 12. So I mean, he generally watches TV with me on that time, because I reach home at around 10:30, 11. So I also watch TV with him. So then timing is not a solution for that.
Do you think content is?
Content is.
Right. So there you have it, Amita. Different voices they're coming, but primarily the fact that the timing is not really going to solve a problem. The government must step in terms of regulating the content as well as what it was before, and that seems to be the need of the hour at this point. Back to you.
Alright, Apurva, do stay with us. In fact, we have the order copy with us right now. The order copy says that all TV channels are hereby advised not to telecast the advertisements of condoms which are for a particular age group and could be indecent or inappropriate for viewing by children. In fact, I have a couple of students with me joining us. We just heard some parents say that a blanket ban must be put on condom ads, but do you believe that it is indecent and inappropriate for viewing by children?
No, I don't think, because it's like stopping sex education in India. So because many people in villages and all don't know about the condoms and all, so if they should know, so there will not be a ban on the condom. That's what I think.
Do you also hold that view? Do you think this this diktat is justified by the government?
Yeah, but I think the content has to be changed.
Thank you.
The condom ads you see nowadays, they have like obscene video, like they're more of erotica and involved. So instead of that, they should be more informative rather than erotica. They should give what are the bad effects if you don't use a condom and all. So putting a ban, could we put a ban on the videos itself, like the ad itself, and change the format of the ad? I believe that's it.
In fact, I'm going to come to the content bit, but we have a parent also joining us. If you can take us through what you think of the ban that's come about by the government. We heard a couple of parents say that it should not just be during the night, it should be completely banned.
I think they are justified.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, why I'm saying this, they are justified in doing this, because see, today if I'm sitting with a small kid, maybe of the age of 5 or 6 or 7, watching the TV, and all of a sudden this condom ad appears, and the child is definitely going to be inquisitive in asking, Dad, what is this ad about? So you are in an embarrassing situation. What are you supposed to answer the kid? Of course, the kid very well knows that it's a noodles ad or a deodorant ad or a chocolate ad, but when a condom ad is coming, I'm sure the kid will be very inquisitive. Daddy, what is the product like? So what are you going to ask him? Of course, education should be imparted at the schools level, which the schools should be taking up from a serious angle if they are really thinking of educating the child from a very young age. Like if you have education for sports or education for any physical activity, so be this. Why not? And I'm certainly with the government that they have banned this during this law.
In fact, a very interesting point made by him there. I'm going to come to you. You're a psychologist. Tell us this. He says it should be done at the school level, but don't you think it should be done at home as well? And how young should one start?
See, considering the present scenario, you have to start as young as 7, 6. Gone are the days when you used to wait for the puberty to reach and then you used to impart sex education. That is one. So you have to start at 6 to 7 and slowly sensitize the kids towards the idea of sex, the idea of sex education and the entire taboo that surrounds it. That is one. Secondly, what sir is saying is that I think it's the collective responsibility of the parents and the school. Not only the school and not only the parents, alright? Because presently, where does a youngster get all his information from? From the internet. Neither the school, neither the parent. So it's like he has a load of misinformation from various media. You can be the source of information. So from one hand, you have proper information and proper talks and counseling from the parents and from the school authorities. On the other side, you can't regulate YouTube and all the other social media which are going to impart a lot of things which are not true perhaps regarding sex and sex education. So it is going to be a tussle between what information you are giving and what misinformation is being fed to them. So rather than turning a blind eye or rather than choosing to ignore the fact that okay, this is the job of the schools or this is the job of the parents or this is a later on job, we need to understand that today kids know everything from a very, very tender age. So it's good if we tell them okay, that this is something that is there, this is something that is natural and this is how we deal with it. I agree that it can be embarrassing for the parents sometimes, but I'll just tell you two stats, and India is still leading in the number of HIV cases in the world. We are number 1. So that is because of unsafe sex. Second thing is we also have the highest number of abortions every year that happen all over the world. Last year the Lancet study says it was 1.5 crores. So one is you can be in an embarrassing situation for the parent, and the second thing is the entire country is in an embarrassing situation where the consequences are the person might lose his life or might have a lifelong setback. So you have to choose between them.
In fact, to counter that point that he just made, to be honest, this has come about by public opinion. We know the Advertisement Society Council of India brought about the advisory after looking at complaints. Do you also hold the view that it is justified, the ban?
See, after all, it's all for public. Means we create an advertisement, we create a campaign, we run lots of government campaigns for only public. If public do not want to see that ad on the particular slot, that's fine. Means I don't think so. It's totally public demand, and after that, ministry has declare that slot is banned for condoms ads. So I think it's fine. It's truly public demands based. That's it.
In fact, let me get in some more voices. ये कह रहे हैं कि ये पब्लिक डिमांड की वजह से आया है. आपका डिमांड क्या है? आपको क्या लगता है कि ये होना चाहिए बैन? आपको नहीं लगता कि दूसरे एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स लाइक डिओड्रेंट एडवर्टाइजमेंट्स फॉर एग्जांपल आर इक्वली बैड इन टर्म्स ऑफ कंटेंट?
हाँ, ये ऐड का जो कंटेंट है, कुछ ऐड है जो वल्गर रहते हैं ज़्यादा. एक्चुअली गवर्नमेंट ने कॉन्डम यूज़ करो ऐसा प्रसार करना चाहिए, लेकिन कुछ ऐड है कि जहाँ जो वल्गर रहते हैं तो टाइमिंग ये करने से कोई साध्य नहीं होगा. ऐड का जो कंटेंट है वो उस पर ध्यान होना चाहिए कि ये यूज़ करना चाहिए, इस पे ध्यान होना चाहिए. टाइमिंग का कुछ
क्या आपको लगता है कि अडल्ट कंटेंट के अंदर आता है, बच्चों को नहीं देखना चाहिए? अगर ये बोले कि वल्गर है और कंटेंट के ऊपर ध्यान देना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट को, क्या समझते हो?
हाँ, मुझे ऐसा ही लगता है कि जिस तरह से वो प्रसारित किया जाता है, जिस तरह वो कंटेंट है, वल्गरनेस उसमें से अगर हम कम कर देते हैं तो डेफिनेटली वो ऐड ज़्यादा बेटर रहेगा, ज़्यादा अपीलिंग रहेगा. सो उन्होंने उस पर ध्यान देना चाहिए, ना कि वो टाइम लिमिट के वो समय के दायरे में वो नहीं बिठा सकते, क्योंकि अदर ऑप्शंस बहुत सारे हैं हमारे पास. यूट्यूब है, बहुत सारी जगहों पे ऐड कंटिन्यूसली चलते रहते हैं. आप टीवी पे बैन करोगे पर सभी जगह आप बैन नहीं कर पाओगे. सो आप उस पर कंटेंट पे ध्यान दो और उसको थोड़ा सा अच्छा बनाओ. ऐड उसको ज़्यादा अच्छे से वो लोगों को देख सके, फैमिली के साथ भी हम उसको फ्रीली देख पाए. ऐसी अगर ऐड बनाते हैं तो ज़्यादा उसका बेनिफिशियल होगा सोसाइटी के लिए और सभी लोगों के लिए.
क्या आपको लगता है इसका कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं होगा? आजकल के बच्चे ज़्यादा इंटरनेट पे रहते हैं और वहाँ पे सब कुछ पता चलता है.
हाँ, मतलब यहाँ हम लोग कम कर दे, बैन कर दे. ऑब्वियसली है, यूट्यूब है, इंटरनेट है, वहाँ से सब देख सकते हैं. तो मेरा पर्सनल ओपिनियन है कि मतलब मैं दोनों साइड से हूँ कि बैन किया तो मेरे लिए अच्छा है, क्योंकि शाम को पापा के साथ जब बैठते तब बहुत एम्बैरेस फील होता है. और लेकिन ये ज़रूरी है कि बच्चों को उसका ज्ञान मिले, नॉलेज मिले.
In fact, I'm going to take this question across to a parent who just told us that this should be completely banned. Do you not think, like they were also pointing out, that the content should be perhaps modified by the government and this is not really adult content?
I just go with what I said, that they are justified with what they have done at the present juncture. If they are really serious and if they are really wanting to do something, the child should be educated from the school level. Why are they not making this education in the school, in all the public schools or maybe private schools or whichever schools concerned in the whole of India? If this is done, I'm sure the child will be educated.
So then don't parents have a role at all in sex education?
Well, you see, there is a time for everything, okay? You cannot expect a parent to be guiding a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old into sex education at that juncture. There is a time for everything. You see, we are not having an American culture. We are having an Indian culture. And by the way, Indian culture doesn't teach all that. I'm sure you agree with me. Okay? So basically educating a child at the age of 5 or 6 or 7 for a sexual education, I'm sure most of us over here will not agree. Okay? So there is a time for a particular age, wherein your parent can sit with you and educate or a girl or a boy that this is your age and this is how it is to be followed.
Sagar, you said that it should be started as early as possible. We're talking about how content should have perhaps been modified before this ban came about. He says that it should be done at school level and it's against our culture. What would you say to this?
I don't agree to that. I don't agree to that. I think when we talk of culture, this is a natural thing which happens to all kids. It's not about our culture or somebody else's culture. It's a natural thing that happens to everybody. As far as, yes, schools should do it, but I think parents also have a very big role in that. Apart from that, when you talked of the content thing, yes, the content has to be modified in a way that it does not appear to be erotic in nature or it does not appear to be vulgar per se. It has to be more informative. Presently, because of the competition that these advertising guys have, it's like who's going to make the more vulgar ad. So if you ban them from 6 to 10, but the content is not modified, anybody can go on YouTube and watch what the ad is showing. So that is not going to solve the problem anyhow. The content needs to be modified, it needs to be made more sensible, it needs to be more informative, more accurate in its nature rather than just banning it. Also, what's the point in banning it from 6 to 10? Don't kids watch it after 10? And I'll tell you something very characteristic about teenagers or when the kids are growing up, and that is again part of natural development. If the kids are told, okay, you can't do this, you can't smoke a cigarette, you can't take alcohol, and if you don't tell them why not to do it, the basic human tendency is to go and do it. So that what, okay, ऐसा क्या दिखा रहा है ad में, so I'll just go and scroll it on YouTube. Guys as low as 3 years are doing YouTube these days. So rather than a complete blanket ban, changing the content, that is very necessary. And I think this should be used as an opportunity. When that content is changed, it should be used as an opportunity by parents and schools alike to have good sex education, to have good personal hygiene education, because the facts reveal that in our country we are still developing and still awareness regarding this is almost zero.
Right. Yeah. So there you go. That is the reaction that's coming in from people here. While there are differing views from parents, which has come in saying that perhaps ban is necessary and sex education should start at the school level. There are doctors who believe that it should start as young as possible and a blanket ban will not have any impact on children. Let's also listen into some reactions.
In the early days, sanitary napkins were in the closet. Now they've come out of the closet and in go the condoms into the closet. So I don't think that's the way it should be. It should be about really talking about content. If the content is considered not appropriate for young audiences, for kids, then I think it should be hauled up. And that could be for a skin cream, that could be for a tomato juice. Kids of the age 10 and upwards must know everything about condoms. And whether they be rural, whether they be urban, upper middle class, lower class, because these are real issues. A condom is about keeping good health, firstly, and secondly, preventing the unwanted pregnancy.
Several complaints, as I mentioned, and our Consumer Complaints Council looked into those complaints. The main objection regarding the content being not suitable for children, the council members felt that in the context of a condom ad, the ad is not objectionable. So the complaints were not upheld, in fact. But regarding the slotting time and the positioning of these ads, that's beyond ASCI's scope. And this is a decision that the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Ministry should take. So we had given this feedback to Ministry of INB that the ads are not objectionable, meant for condoms, but they could consider issuing any guidance to the channels.